All right, folks, Sir Charles Carey back for another episode of What's Your Come Up Story? K Fit, I see you sitting there looking cool. You got your sleeveless thing working. Got a little bit of glare in the eyes because of those specs, but oh yeah, there the little eyes go. So how you doing today? There the little eyes go. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Good evening. It was a great day. Life is life. Pulling through with the strength and energy. Had a few doctor's appointments, so trying to
Right.
get extra strong.
I got you. I got you. Look, we got to go through things sometimes, but there's a reason for everything, and sometimes we don't get to know why until after the fact. So I know we've got a lot to go over today. Our guest, I've never met her, only because of you. You're bringing some definitely premier guests that have different talents, and I find that very interesting. It's a kind of a different perspective. So I'm looking forward to hearing her story. So let's bring her up out of the green room. In fact, let's go to the where's that page? We got that interview page. No, not that page. Where's that interview page? Bam, we're gonna bring it right here, and we're gonna bring her in and see what we can. There she is, right there. And then
Hello.
we gotta bring. How you doing? I gotta bring up K Fit. In fact, I'm gonna switch her. I'm gonna put you in the middle.
Okay.
There you go. And there she is, right here. Bam. Good. Good deal. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Elizabeth Collins. So, how you doing, Elizabeth?
I'm doing good today. How are you?
Okay, good, good. I'm gonna sit back a little bit. I'm gonna let K Fit drive, and I'm just gonna jump in from time to time, maybe asking a
Uh,
question here or there, because she knows you a lot better than I do. So let's just get this party started.
all right.
All right, all right, all right. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for making it on the show. I really appreciate you coming through to talk and chat with us. I found you very interesting because I never met a person who was into anime art. And anime art is something different that a lot of people don't know about. So, can you tell us about anime art?
So pretty much it's anime is like the Japanese version of cartoons. So all the people that you see making those type of designs are, anime artists. The ones that are more professional, you can call them like mangaka, they would call it, or, creative artists. So for me, I draw all different types of cartoons that come from Japan. I've been doing it to be honest. And that anime art is just like if you think of cartoons but from Japan. So that's the only really difference.
So, what's the
Okay, you
difference
broke up a
between
little bit. Sorry about that.
what's the difference between anime and Japanimation?
Oh yeah, so anime art is just think of like cartoons and comic books, but it's a Japanese versions of them.
Right, but the term
So
Japanimation is that the same thing, just a different word for the same thing?
yeah, and for anime they may have like more concepts. It may you may have more like genres and more characters you would see in anime.
Okay, how can you hear us well?
Yeah.
Okay, because you were breaking up a little bit, so I don't know if your signal is falling in and out, but yeah. So now, when you say different genres, now do you mean storylines, or what does that mean when you say different genres as it relates to the artwork? Is it what does that mean?
So like if you think like Netflix or movies, when you go to the movies they have like different they'll tell you what it is. So like horror, suspense,
Okay,
mystery, like romance, they have the
sure.
same thing in anime. Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get into that, this where are you from?
Oh, sorry, can you say that again? I didn't
Sure.
hear.
No, I'm saying before you go any deeper, where are you from?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you good. I'm not sure if it's the signal.
Okay. I was saying, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Newark, but now I live in Irvington.
Okay. That's upstate New York. Is that where is that in the tri-state?
So that's Essex County.
Okay. Okay. All right. And you went to school in Newark, obviously. Is that correct?
Actually, so I was born in Newark, but then like when I was one, we moved to Hillside. So I actually went to Hillside High School. So like I lived in Hillside most of my life, Irvington/Union side, because
Okay.
it's called the Mill Run. So they're in between like two cities. So
Got you. So when did you get the bug for? Was it drawing first? Was it color? What brought you into the art world?
mm, I would say the anime. But I at first when I was watching it, I didn't know that it was that. I thought it was like regular cartoons. Pokemon. That's classified as an anime, but it's so mainstream. Everybody thought, oh, it's a normal cartoon. But going into like third grade, and I used to trace at first, and I would see these, you ask people. I have some people in my family that like anime, so they started explaining to me what it was, and I was like, oh, I guess this is what I'm like interested in. So I started drawing like those characters, and I would say in fifth grade, that's when I really like got into it. I started like reading like their version of comics, which is Magna, and I was like, oh, this is
You seem to be breaking up a little
interesting.
bit.
From there,
Yeah,
oh, can you hear me now?
yeah, you kind of breaking up a bit. So would you say that? So you started around you were about 10 years old, from fifth grade, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, around 9 or 10 years old. Yeah.
And did you do pencil, charcoal, colors, crayon? How did you start? Like, what was your initial approach?
Yeah, my initial approach was pencils, and at first I was like using notebook paper, uh, and like random journals. I used to go outside and draw like when we had trips. Like that's how it started, and then my parents were like, "You probably need a sketchbook," and then from there it went from like a sketchbook. So I've been using like sketchbooks and pencil and paper for majority of the time. It was only when I started anime ink art I tried to like do more, try to learn how to use editing apps, and now I'm trying to learn how to color digitally. So it's been
Okay.
interesting.
So the reason why I'm asking some of these questions is not just because we're having a conversation, but when I was in school, I started drawing too. I was influenced heavily by the movies that I saw at the time. It wasn't anime, but it was just regular action films, martial arts. Um, they call it the black exploitation films. That's the era I grew up in. So I would try to convey some of those ideas from a movie, whether it was Superfly or Shaft, whatever it was. But I was very much into drawing. My imagination really was like on fire. So I really loved the ability to draw. Um, when you were drawing, uh, now, do you do your own ideas, or do you still are you influenced still heavily by the popular artwork of today's anime artists?
It now I would say it's like a combination. So
Okay,
before I started anime ink art, I would do what's called Inktober. So I was still inspired by like the different characters. I would try to draw it to the best of my ability because I was a reference drawer. So most things, if you ask me to draw it, I would be able to draw. Like probably even the background there, I would spend hours, trying to get it as perfect as possible. And then when I started anime ink art, I was like, I want to try to do original characters because that's like something I always wanted to do. So one person gave me the opportunity. a few months ago when I started commissions, she wanted to do like a Dungeons and Dragons. And that was like my first one. And I started like getting books that they teach kids how to draw like different characters on their own. Because when you reference draw, it's like you learn the basics, but you're staring at it for a long period of time. But then I went back and I was trying to learn, like, the circle of different shapes, the sketch, and then draw from there. So that's how I was able to make a few characters that are in my website, and eventually I'm gonna make more. I do still do the popular anime because of the people I've met along the way. They do like it, so they do like to see those designs. So like I'll ask like, "Oh, do you want this design?" And then I'll do something original. Or if somebody wants me to work with them for like a logo, like I'm doing right now, then that's technically an original design because it's like
Wow.
either in likeness or they want something just like they'll give references and kind of like the references help me. I can add my own stuff to it. So
That's nice. K Fit, did you ever have any interest in drawing or artwork of any type?
Only in elementary school, a little bit in junior high school, but not really. My thing was really poetry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love the arts, drawing and poetry and the whole. I just love the arts. I'm not good at everything, but I have experienced different arts that I've lent myself to. Question though, I know
yeah.
that you mentioned digital editing. So do you do anime by hand or do you use computers? How do you create whatever you're going to do? Is it, electronically or is it by hand?
Now the funny part is both. Now
Okay.
it's just that for all my life I've been using like pencil and paper. So it is a big jump to like learn the sensitivity of the pencil and stuff like that. So I'm learning. So in the meantime, what I used to do, I draw like a picture in the pencil and I go over it in pen. I try to make it as neat as possible. And
Right.
then I learned how to use the apps afterwards, like take a picture of it. And then I edit it from there, like, the contrast, the saturation, make sure like it looks as clean as I could make it from the drawing. And then now without using color pencils, you have to learn like the mixers, the different skin tones, the different types of colors that they have. So that's what I've been experimenting with now. And then from there, in the beginning, I didn't use the color because it's not my favorite thing to do. It was more so shading. So I
But
was learning how.
you do know in the world of art that some of the artists don't do their own coloring. You know that, right?
No, yeah, I know. But for me, it was just more so of like a challenge because I have been doing it by myself, and like eventually I will collaborate with other people. But I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this by myself, and I want to challenge myself, I had to like learn along the way. So most of the stuff.
I applaud you because a lot of people they'll do one thing. That I can't say most, and I won't say most, but a lot of people when it comes to a craft, a skill, a talent, they just want to do one thing. Even in the business world, you may have someone that works in the accounting department and they just want to do accounts receivables. They don't want to do accounts payables. They don't want to learn income
Yeah.
statements. They just want to do one thing. No balance sheets, nothing. K Fit, when you were doing poetry, when you first started out, I know that was like a long time ago because you're so old now. But
Hold
sorry,
on, all right. You cut it a little bit short.
okay, it was a long time ago. But you know how they
No,
say
it
like
was.
roses are red, violets are blue. That kind of like for me, I remember those days, and because I write songs and have written songs, some of those were like you say you were tracing in the beginning for an artist that sings or writes poems or that writes music. The guideline was like the old fashioned roses are red, violets are blue. And you say, okay, so
Hmm.
that's how you start a poem, or that's how you can start a poem. So let me write my own poem, and you kind of like use that as a guide. Do you remember that, K Fit?
Definitely. For me, I think out in the beginning, I was doing the whole rhyming rhythm thing. It had to be a rhyme or rhythm, and if you strayed away from that, it wasn't correct. So
Or did
definitely.
yeah. I still do that honestly in a lot of cases when it comes to songwriting. It's like It's not that I do that per se, but it always seems to work out to make sense that way. I'm just grateful that when I'm really serious about writing a piece, that the if it does rhyme, it really lends itself appropriately, where it's not a stretch and it makes sense. It's not like I'm just trying to rhyme on purpose because I don't know what other words, but it supports the whole message. So I kind of like that idea.
Absolutely. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's
Sometimes it just flows naturally like that, where it just ends up rhyming. And sometimes nothing rhymes, but it's so felt as you speak it.
yeah, yeah. I've read some of your poetry, K Fit, and I've heard you recite some of your poems, and I must say I think you're way beyond that elementary stage because I can see you reciting some of your stuff or reading some of your stuff in a poetry house because, I mean, it's just light years above, away from where you started and where most of us start, in the beginning.
Absolutely. Not to take away from Elizabeth tonight, but that's
I'm
what me and
sorry.
Meredith were supposed to do. Me and Meredith Conyers, we were supposed to
Oh
go to
yeah,
open
yeah,
mics and
yeah.
come be a duo. That was supposed to be our thing, and I kind of left it there, kind of, sort of, not really, but it was kind of bittersweet.
Yes, I do. I do. I can imagine with what Elizabeth does. I don't know if you ever thought about this, Elizabeth, but and it's obviously this is just coming off the top of my head, but if you were able to take some of your anime and have someone do a poem to it, or you were to draw a scene out or scenes that you could tie together
Uh,
based on poetry, that's the next level. So you got that for free, okay?
Cartoon
that
style
was
for real
interesting.
movie.
Yeah.
I because I wanted to say something while you were talking, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Come on, come on.
It's nice that you say poetry, because there was a short period of time where I actually did poetry for a little bit, and yeah, so I was like, oh, that's interesting. um, like when I was in grade school, they had wanted me to do poems. At first, I didn't want to do it, but then fast forward to like eighth grade, ninth grade, it was just like an outlet because having issues expressing yourself or speaking your mind and stuff like that. Now it's better, but I used it as like an outlet. Come into high school, there was a person named Joshua Stevens, and I remember like he was promoting his poetry like club. He had heard some stuff from like my now husband, and he was like begging me, come do it. And I'm like, I don't want to do
Did you
it.
say
And
husband?
then I did it for like yeah, my husband, yeah.
You, you, you look like you're in high school.
I'm gonna turn 28 this year. No, I don't
Oh
look
my
like it.
goodness. Whoa. Okay.
Black don't crack, black girl magic, yes.
Way to go. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you, but
So
yeah,
Elizabeth,
yeah,
I'm sorry, you can complete your thought. I'm sorry.
yeah, but I would definitely probably been like a few months, but if I were to do it with my drawings, it would be interesting. But I would definitely like any person that does poetry. I I definitely love it. I would love that for one day if like somebody could like help animate my stuff and it becomes bigger than what it is and poetry that would be perfect.
When it comes
Right.
to the creative
Well,
arts,
maybe
is
we'll work together, Elizabeth.
Yes, I would love that.
when it comes to the creative arts, I kind of get beside myself because I am a true lover of art. I haven't experienced all art forms, of course, but I have, like I said earlier, I have lent myself to several different art forms because I have an appreciation and obviously a participation. But when you referenced earlier talking about digital editing again, it made me think about the fact that are you familiar with the video game Metal Gear?
Yes.
And I can't think of the creator's name, but it's a Japanese man, and it started to make me think about the influence of Japanese art in video games today. Now, who are the top, I guess, anime artists or anime artists that are working in on the digital platforms? Do you know any? Just kind of curious.
Oh yeah, I definitely met more this year. I joined a server called Discord, but they're also on Instagram. Called Famicom Online. So they're a variety of like how they call them blurs, blurs. They're doing amazing things. I could name some like Obsidian Comics. They're like a black indie publishing, company. They're making different kinds of comics and stuff like that. Sovereign, then like doing amazing art, like 3D art. They're making their own anime. Eventually with like different networks, they have like anime inspired merch. They actually like inspire me to keep going. I've met so many of them, probably like more than 50 at this point.
I know I probably don't know any of the names, but it was amazing that I was in my fiance and I, we were in Atlantic City several months ago. I don't know, 6 months maybe, and we just went for a getaway. And then there is a mall which I can't think of it, of course, very close to Atlantic City, and over there there's a comic book store. So the big kid in me just had to go into the comic book store, and it's just like it's amazing how comics have grown and changed and shifted leaps and bounds since God when I was a kid. You know, I've seen them since then, of course, but even still, they continue to evolve. They're sleek. The animate, the artwork is very. It's not just technical, but the definition is it just stands out. And I don't know. I probably could have been a really good artist, but that wasn't my thing. But I just really had a good appreciation for even like the Batman, Superman comics. The artists today, they draw totally different than they did in the past. I
Yeah,
mean, and it's all about the definition and perspective of the art. And I was like, wow, it's just a different world, you know?
definitely is. They're
Yeah.
definitely getting more creative, and what I do love about the people I found, they're trying to bring, like black experiences, what we go through, and now they're adding that, and then they're creating like some like there's a person called Soul King. They create black versions of like popular characters. So to see somebody like yourself done like that in stories, there's a I think like a manga that somebody made called Ten Pins, and it's about their experience when they were bowling, and they turned it into a whole anime. So it's interesting to see, from our perspective.
So here's a question for you. Would you say, or I mean, I may be right, I may be wrong. Has anime, which seems to originate from Japan, has that influenced the American scene more and more nowadays?
Oh, like the influence of it, yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely like definitely a big influence on a lot of people. It like when I started watching it, and whoever watched it before me, like 90s and 80s, they were going through it. Like they were still trying to accept it in the United States. Getting bootleg tapes and everything, translating it themselves to get it pushed out. But then, like once the early like 2010 started coming around, that's when you got the streaming services like Crunchyroll and like Funimation, and then out of nowhere you saw like an influx of people. Like there are some people that may have not liked it before, and then now they were just trying to see what it was all about, because now you'll see it everywhere if you're looking for it. And then even when I go to like pop-up events that are not anime related, which I've been doing, there's always at least like one or two sweet people nowadays that say like, oh, my son or my daughter or my dad or something, they like anime. Before it never used to really be like that. They'll just be like, oh, I don't know what that is.
Look, you have no idea. I could talk your head off when it comes to this subject, even though it's not something I'm currently doing, but I have just
Yeah.
such an appreciation for the art world, for artists. So I want K Fit to jump in here. She normally has questions of different calibers to throw at our guests. So K Fit, can you pepper Elizabeth with some of those questions that you get to make her really start thinking?
Absolutely, Elizabeth. So, one of the crazy questions, which is a really good question to ask all the guests, is if you could have a conversation with 18-year-old Elizabeth about life and adversity and entrepreneurship, what would you tell 18-year-old Elizabeth as if you could speak to yourself?
Oh wow, yeah, definitely good question. Um, so much has happened since I was 18 that I don't even think they would believe that it happened. Um, even I was afraid to try certain things. I always, used to have hard work ethic and stuff like that, but to like put yourself out there, especially with your artwork, it's something that not everybody does, or in your like you never know until you try. Sometimes it will be hard, sometimes you don't think that you deserve to be in the space, but don't let it stop you, because only good things will come if you keep persevering, and that you might like get stressed, you might not know what to do, you might get more vulnerable than you ever wanted to be because you never wanted to show your emotions. But I mean, that's part of life. You have to grow, and you have to be, God wants you to be in. So that's what I would tell her, because she was just nervous to do a lot of stuff.
Okay, okay. I can feel that. We all nervous when we're younger. We grow and blossom as we get older. Um, I have a lot of unique questions, but I have a question I personally want to ask you regarding your anime designs. How do you get the actual designs transferred to duffel bags and shirts? Like, what is that process like? Who do you work with? Like, can you tell us about that process?
Oh yeah, so at the moment I had found this, like, they have like the print services. You can create a store and they help you ship. They have the templates that you can add your artwork on. There's a few of them, and right now I'm on Redbubble. So with Redbubble, I create my designs, and like I was telling you guys the process, like what I do. So I with them, which is usually like PNG files is for most of them. So once I do that, I'll go into the website and I add my new artwork, as they call it, and they give you like a title, they give you the tags, because for the stores it's more so like SEO to get seen. They want you to put tags based on what the design could be. You put the description, and then from there, the store has like now 100 products that you can put your stuff on. So bags, t-shirts, hoodies. So there'll be a template. They give you like, the background colors, if you want pixel, or like the resolution that they think will be the best for that particular piece of clothing, or whether it's like a t-shirt or a bag. They give you like by what pixel is okay. So usually I have to go and like resize them usually. Sometimes you can do it one by one, just takes a little bit longer, or you can search for all of them for all the products and then just do it ahead of time, and then colors you want and the dimensions, and check to see that everything's fine.
So as you're saying
They'll tell you,
this, as you're saying, I'm sorry for
yeah,
interrupting you, but as you're saying this, my radar is rising because the business side of me is like, this is good, but how do you know that your stuff is protected? Meaning, I'm thinking about if you're using their templates, which does make sense, but is there kind of an agreement that this is your intellectual property, or is there any
yeah,
kind of way that you can protect yourself? Because if I add color to a design that you have, technically that's not the original design. You know what I'm saying? And there's always
yeah.
ways of splitting hairs in business for people to be kind of shady or shisty, whatever you may want to call it. And is there like an agreement that you have that this is my intellectual
Yeah.
property? I'm using your service for this purpose or that purpose. Is that how it's? Is there an understanding?
Yeah, so when you first like set up the store with them, they do have a thing about like copyright, intellectual property. They give you like a guideline for you yourself, like if you're taking it from, if let's say you were to take it from somewhere else, just be cautious. Either you're licensed to make to have this design, or is it your design? Are you allowed to post it? So you'll press like the check mark. They won't
Right.
let you post it unless you press the check mark. From there, I do know that they put like your store name on the picture itself, like when you go to see designs, and like if you were to click on the picture, you do see like Anime Ink Art. I have seen situations with some other people where like they'll go to stores and they feel like if they got ripped off, at least they have like you can do like a case against that person. So they'll like
Okay.
file a complaint with Redbubble, and
Sure.
they will like send that person, and they'll be like, "Oh, you had violated this such and such," whether it's from a company complaint to them, or it was another artist complaint to it. But it's probably better if you don't feel like you can dispute it, just let it die. Just don't, because then, if you try to repost it and they already took it down, they can take down your store. And sometimes they do that even if you put certain like keywords. You got to be careful because about the copyright, because they might take it down depending on if the company's like, "Oh, this is licensed by me, please don't use the tag even." So
So another question I have, and I want K Fit to come back in real quick, but another question I have, because I'm an author, I've written several books. We have what's called an ISBN number, ISBN number. Do you have a patent number, an ISBN number, or other than just the copyright sign, do you have something to differentiate your work from other artists?
like if it's like the physical copy, so let's say I'm doing commissions, I just try to do my signature. So that's the way like most
Got
artists have to do it. It gets a little iffy with artists because like like different platforms that they're on, and even it's easy for that to happen, and sometimes they don't get credit. The best thing we can do is just, if it's those sites, ask questions about it, obviously, or eventually when I try to do like my own site, once I get to that level where I feel like I have like the backing and stuff to have my own store, then that'll be my property. I can, somebody that's helping me with shipping and everything. But yeah, it definitely can be a slippery slope. You just have to be cautious, and especially like if you're like most people have told me, like if you're selling paintings at a pop-up, let's say, or if you're selling like prints that you made, or you give a print as a commission, they just say make sure you sign it, because not many people can you know copy your exact signatures.
exactly. So do you do people, places, and things, or just people?
So that's
What
like
is
a
your
copy.
is your artwork just people, or is it people, places, and things, objects?
I would say it has been a combination. Right now in the store, it's like like mostly people, but then sometimes I've done like like scenery and stuff like that in the store.
Abstract.
Yeah, like more so like forest areas, like anime backgrounds, like stuff like that. Or when I was younger, I used to do towers. I used to do that as well.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, K Fit. I'm sorry. I just, things were just popping up inside my mind, and I was like, find out, ask,
You're
business, be
fun.
careful.
Yeah, when I met
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I had Megan with me, and Megan loves to draw, and I bought her a sketchbook as well. And she didn't really get a chance to engage with Elizabeth's table, because she's with Destiny, helping her as well with her unique care brand. But I thought about Megan when I met Elizabeth, because my daughter, she loves to draw, and we didn't get a chance to engage like I wanted to, but we'll have our moment for that.
I
So
can't wait to see Megan again because I didn't realize that because I used to draw. So now when I see Megan, tell her the Pop Pop really wants to get down and do some artwork with me.
yeah, I just bought her a nice big spiral sketchbook that has probably like a few hundred sheets in it, and she's in it every day.
Nice, nice.
Nice. But Elizabeth, for you, I wanted to know, did anyone inspire you outside of you learning about anime art the way you did? Did anyone inspire you along your journey at any point, specifically?
Mm, I know I mentioned the server before that I was in, but honestly, there's a lot of this. Like some of them have like their own anime brands and clothing lines. Like those really inspire me. Like some of the stuff that they do, some of the stuff they've been able to do. Going to conventions, just like the quality of like their videos and stuff like that. That
Okay.
talk to any of them, which and that helps me because like they have more experience in that. Whereas I just started, and like they'll tell me things and I'm like, oh, this is great, this is really inspirational. One day I'll get to that
Okay, we're gonna
point.
take a pause for a moment. We've got something that we're doing, and I want to just take an opportunity to promote an event we've got coming up. I just want to speak on that a little bit. Excuse me. Just trying to find it if I can. I think I have it. I think I have. Where's my glasses? What's the little train? I think I can. I think I can. These icons are so small, can hardly see anything. But let me go for it. We'll be right back. One more time. Single shot. Oh man, this is cray cray. Trying to make sense of this thing. Bam. There you go. On October 29th, folks, we have an event coming up, and I like to encourage you to really get outside of yourself and get the best from yourself. On October 29th, I've got five self that are coming to the Hampton Inn in Camp Springs, Maryland, and we're really excited about it because this is an event like none other. It's called Clear Vision. Seeing it before it's there. Getting the best is we're going to talk about vision, mindset, leadership, and communication. We've got Janice McMillan. We've got Marilyn Platinum Franklin, Bishop David Sabat. Excited about this because, the pandemic has done a lot of things to a lot of people, and a lot of us will never be the same. But this is our opportunity to get out of our own heads, get out of our own way, and actually do something about our lives, really be a part of our lives. Like Dr. Phil says, I want you to be a part of your life. And that's exactly what we want. We want people to be a part of their own lives. We want them to get out the house, come out, speak to some professionals that have over 100 years of experience in personal and professional development, and let us train you and teach you on some things that can make a huge difference. And once again, it's called Clear Vision, seeing it before it's done. I'm so used to the camera being over here. I'm looking over here, but the camera's right here. But the event
I
is called
see.
Clear Vision, seeing it before it's done. Saturday, October 20. Free parking. If you're coming from out of town, we've got blocked rooms. You're gonna get digital products, physical products, and direct access with all of the presenters. So we're really excited about this raffles, giveaways, swag bag, the whole shebang. So with that being said, K Fit, back to you.
Thank you. And you said that really, really well. So, Elizabeth, next thing I wanted to ask you is, what is your passion?
Hmm.
It's okay if you haven't figured
I
it
would
out,
say I yeah. But I mean, like my passion, just doing what makes me happy, keeping my peace, keeping myself busy, stuff like that. Just never, never just staying stagnant in one place. If that makes sense, that's like my passion. Just do what makes me happy, but try like if there's moments where I'm
Okay, so I think this is time for that segment called So what do you think? So what do you think, K Fit? Is it time for that segment?
It surely is.
Okay, Elizabeth, this is a segment we've got. We got to get some music for it, so that it's clear that there's an interlude or that something is changing. But so, what do you think? We come up with the topic, and we ask questions that we all chime in on, giving our personal opinions. And today, we got a couple of options. So I'm looking at the list, and I want to know. Well, this may be right up your aisle, Elizabeth. So, what do you think about technology in the future of tech?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat that? It like cut off for a
Absolutely.
second.
So, what do you think about the future of technology?
It's definitely
Sorry.
about to be a thing on, I think, behind. There's already a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I think that, like, once the public knows, is gonna be crazy. I just think it's crazy the things that we can do now with technology, and you think back on like Star Trek and stuff. Teleportation might happen. Maybe not when we're alive, but eventually.
I'm interested, but I just want to see somebody else do it first, depending on what it is. Do you remember the movie The Fly?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that movie.
So let somebody else go first, and then after they come back, then I might try it.
Yeah, that's funny. Because I always think about, like, I know that like your whole body gets like decomposed, not decomposed, but like it breaks down. But
Yeah.
my thing is, what happens when you come back? Like, it's just scary. Like, is it gonna hurt? Like, that's what I'm just thinking.
And is the portal, is it clear? Is it like just oxygen and
They say
you, or is there an insect? Is there a feather or some kind of debris in there that's going to get mixed up into your DNA? And see, that's the
that's what I'm
thing.
thinking. I don't know, and I mean, like, I know, like, in Star Trek when they show it, like, if something did happen when they tell deal with it, but like still, like, it's just an unknown. Just the unknown of that is a little scary. It seems cool to do, but I'm just wondering, like, when you're traveling, like, can you not see it because obviously like that, or can you see it?
That's interesting as well. Absolutely. What about flying around with those jetpacks? K Fit, I can see K Fit flying around with one of those backpacks, and she's like flying
No.
around. She, look, she's running late for work, and so she's got to get to the office. She's going to the Bronx with a jetpack
Well,
on.
maybe, that's a good point. I can definitely use that regarding instead of getting on the MTA train.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
my
Oh,
comment regarding
yeah.
the future. I'm sorry, she's still talking.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I definitely want to be able to invest in that, be a part of that portfolio of stock in Robinhood or E Trade. I would love to be a part of the money part of that. Also, I think it would be good job opportunities for people to get into tech now or later. I feel like that's going to be a booming industry for like the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Not that you got to be in aerospace, but tech period.
Yeah, well, the air
Yeah,
traffic controllers will probably, that field will grow, and probably Uber and Lyft will probably be hands on first with stuff like that.
yeah, definitely. Anybody who chose tech, they made the right choice, especially right now in this day and
Yep.
age. So
But even for you, I'm thinking about the fact that as an artist, anime or otherwise, can you imagine advertising? I mean, advertising, they're already using technology, but meeting planners, they already have, oh, what's it called? I used to use them too. Not card. It's a software where you can set up furniture, and arrange a room and then show it. AutoCAD, AutoCAD. That's
Mm.
what AutoCAD. Yeah, yeah. I used to use
yeah,
AutoCAD before it looked like it looks now. Now it looks really nice. When I used it, it was kind of really just circles, and these are supposed to be chairs, and the oval is a round table and whatever. But I can see technology really leaps and bounds, really shifting the way we do almost everything. The only thing I don't I'm not too hot about is how technology will interface or integrate with our food. I don't know if I really want food um, that's been processed, you know, shipped, fine, but processed, and that's so hot on that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you have a point.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, for me, I would say it's the food because we're already dealing with like the GMO and the side effects of GMO. They're trying to do non-GMO. It's a whole thing.
Yep.
Um, they meant well when they did the GMO. There's like misconceptions and things about what it was supposed to do. It's just when you're genetically altering things, there's side effects to it.
Yep.
That's the only thing, you know. But for me, I'm a little bit nervous with the artificial intelligence. That's the one thing.
Did you guys see the military droids they were using like dogs or not like yeah, like dogs and like people. The droid was shooting and they were throwing things at it to show how accurate you can knock it down, and it was so accurate that the android would still hit the target. And I'm like, they are pushing the envelope too far, because what happens
Yeah.
when that android taps into the mainframe and starts thinking, "Oh, this is an attack," and shoots the person that's trying to program
Yeah.
it? See, that's
True.
iRobot all over for real, though.
Yes.
Hmm.
Actually, yeah, you say about that because I remember I was watching something, and because there's like a humanoid that they have. I don't know if it's in Saudi Arabia or a different place, but apparently they have a job. I don't know if they like do modeling. Like they have like a whole career going on, and then like they asked them, like she was saying how she wants to have like a husband, like a family,
Oh, the
and she was
android.
like saying yeah, the Android. She was saying this on her own, and I forget which one they were doing. I don't think it was the full humanoid yet, but it was like the face and the body, like you see in like Instagram and like Facebook, how it was.
Scary.
Yeah, like talking about like domination or something. Like I don't know what it was, but it was so scary, and like we're like, are we gonna ignore that this is the thing?
Exactly. So let me just say this as we get ready to close out. So what's next for you? I mean, I know you have your store. Um, are you trying to take either anime or what you do with anime to another level, or are you just still perfecting it? What's next for you?
So there's like a few things. Definitely trying to improve on like the content make for the advertisements. Probably working with different artists and people. That's like a goal of mine. At the moment, now I'm trying to find like artist conventions and to eventually vend at anime conventions.
Nice, nice. You got any feedback,
So
Kate?
Jersey.
Comments?
Can you tell our viewers where can they look at your art, purchase your art, follow you, connect with you?
Oh yeah, so you can follow me on Facebook. I have Instagram, which is Lizzie Collins Love. I'm also on LinkedIn as Anime Ink Art, and also my website. If you go to Instagram, it will be in in the description in the bio. Because there's like a long link for it. So definitely, if you follow me there, you'll see the link and it'll take you directly to the store.
Let's just try and look and see if there's any comments before we close out, because I like to acknowledge those that are spending their time with us. Whether it's a little bit, hey, Mahogany was there. Good to see her. She was on the program. She's an artist, a vocalist. And it's that artistic thing. Artists like to support other artists. So thank you for coming through, Mahogany. 6 comments. Okay, let's see what. Oh, Jose, thank you for coming in, Jose. I appreciate you stopping by and giving us some of your time. Yes, Mahogany, thank you. AutoCAD, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Um, Yeah, but so we have some people chiming in and listening in on the conversation. So listen, feel free, please, to go to the group when you sign off, and if you're not able to access it, just ask for access, and KFit will give you access so that you can comment to what the people are saying, and put your actual site and any other information you want people to have in the group so that it's available for them, okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the program. Definitely appreciate you and appreciate your time from your family. And all the best to you. And we look forward to hearing you doing some bigger and better things. I'll be seeing you on Instagram, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lizzie.